What's up, everybody? This is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com, and today we're going to be talking about beat block and how to beat it. What's up, everybody? This is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Today I wanted to do a quick podcast talking to you guys about beat block and just why it is such an unnecessary thing. It's something that I haven't experienced in a long time, and you as a producer, you might be watching that and be saying, bullshit, it happens to everybody, and it really doesn't have to. And it all comes down to not having a bunch of ARPs or chord progressions or different drum patterns saved up that you can start a beat with. You just have to understand the mentality of what stops you from creating. Like, you're already a creative person. You have a passion for making music. You're a producer. What you might not realize is that you're a musician. You don't have to necessarily be skilled or even good at playing an instrument to be a musician. I mean, to be a musician, you just have to create music. So the process of beat block is beat block doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. What it is it's a performance pressure that you put upon yourself. And what I mean by performance pressure is, like, you put pressure on yourself, and what that does is it stops you from doing something that you do naturally. You naturally make beats. It's what if you're like me, you feel like it's what you're born to do. You're great at it. Even if you're learning, you have a natural talent for it. So for you not to be able to create, the first thing that you have to understand and accept is that is a unnatural condition for you. You should never not be able to create. So you break down that barrier and you say, well, why can't I create? And a lot of times you're thinking about things like, oh, well, I need to use new drums, or all my beats I've been making lately have the same pattern, or I need to use a new sound. I've been using this patch or preset too often. I mean, what you have to do is you have to remember you're a musician, right? If you have any friends who are musicians, you'll go to their house and you'll be like, yo, why are you playing this other person's song? And it's because that's what they do. They play. They're musicians. They play. That's what you have to realize. You're a musician, so create music. If you find yourself in a space where you're like, okay, I can't make a beat today, I'm not coming up with anything, and you feel that performance pressure on yourself, go and study someone else's beats. Like, a lot of times people will be like, how do you come up with these great arrangements? My arrangements come from studying other people's songs. So you can go and grab someone else's track that you like and respect, whether it be a producer that you admire, that's just coming up on YouTube, or if it's a big time person, get the song, put it into your DAW, and start breaking it down. Before you know it, in the process of doing that, you're gonna be creating a brand new beat, because what that lets you do is it takes away the pressure for you to perform, because you're listening to someone else's performance and then therefore becoming inspired. You have to stop putting so many standards and just an ideology on yourself that every drum pattern has to be different, or that you have to use a different chord progression or a different scale with every song. Like, that's bullshit, dude. There are entire subgenres of EDM, and they all have the same 4 on the floor kick. Most hip hop songs, boom bap or otherwise, have very similar drum patterns. Most trap songs have very similar drum patterns. There's only so many spaces, if you break it down mathematically, that you can put a fucking kick and a snare inside of that grid. So you need to free yourself from the constraint of making the craziest beat of all time when you sit down to produce. You need to get away from the idea that quality trumps quantity, because it doesn't. That is literally the stupidest, largest cop out that people make when they get into production. Like, oh, there's producers that make 5 beats a day. Well, how many of them are keepers? Bitch, they're all keepers. You know what I mean? because I'm one of them people, and it's because I don't put the pressure on myself that they all have to be keepers. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't put any pressure on myself when I sit down at the DAW. My only thing is just to be myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna find a sample. I'm gonna find these trap drums, and I'm gonna entertain myself. It is already natural for me to be a great musician. It's already natural for me to be a great producer. I already know that inside myself. So me sitting down to make 5 beats is something that I already do. You know, if you give me 12 hours in a day to just sit and make music, I'm gonna make 5 6 songs. You know what I mean? That's because it's what I do, and it's what you do too. That's the whole point. It's not for me to talk about myself. It's for me to talk about what you are capable of, and it's something that is absolutely plausible and possible. All you have to do is get these old ideas out of your head that quality beats quantity. That's just people who have too much performance pressure put on them, that every time they sit down they need to make a hip hop classic. And what happens when you take away that standard and that ideology is, yeah, sure, you're gonna make beats that don't sell. Sure, you're gonna make beats that your friends and especially other producers aren't impressed with. But I guarantee you, if you work in the way that I'm suggesting, you're going to have way more beats that people do fuck with than the guy who only makes beats when he's inspired by the angels and the hip hop Jesus. All right. So this is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions, Studio1Tutorials.com. Keep it simple. Don't be basic. Fuck beat block, and we'll see you on the next one.